Welcome to the first match of the second week of the 32nd Grand Arena season, and I'm playing against Speed Pewees D, I guess. Sorry if I butchered your name. Unfortunately, I didn't record the third match of the first week, and it also wasn't a really good match. I just stopped at some point playing because I didn't feel like it. So yeah, there are days like that. So that means I went 2-1 in the first week, so still in the top 50, I guess. And so this is tough opponent, and we're starting with a South War battle. Vader with the help of Short Trooper against Rey with Armorer and this little fella here, Hoda. I got the level 9 Datacron on Darth Vader, which means he gets a bonus turn once he gets killed for the first time. On the level 6 I have the cooldown reductions per debuff, and so in this case you only have 3 targets in freeze, which can get a little bit tricky if you don't land a lot of debuffs, but in this case it kinda worked out well versus Rey. I think you can even solo Rey, but it depends a little bit on who's there. Like if they're damage dealers and don't have the bonus turn, it might get dicey. And I just wanted to go safe here, safe option, and opted for Short Trooper. There's also, I think, crit immunity right now on these guys, so it can be, yeah, it's still like a little bit of a challenge because you have to stack a lot of debuffs, but we're going in the higher 30s in this case, and so should be enough damage. And what you just do is you cycle between Force Crush, Ability Block if you need it, the basic Force Crush, and then Merciless Massacre, and whenever available you use it. Do your thing and then stack debuffs on them. You have to be a little bit careful when you're close to damage immunity, triggering the damage immunity. Hoda, for instance, is close. For Rey, it's also close, so then in this case it can be a loss, right? So yeah, you have to be careful there. Here I triggered in Hoda, but he's not so much of a problem. But for Rey, it would have been a problem. Then I wouldn't have the option to kill her. So I took her out before I triggered the damage immunity, and from there on it's pretty safe. And then I took Armor out, and Hoda just disappears. Then the second battle in this match is Iden. I changed my defense a little bit so I don't have Death Trooper available, and here is a little problem with the damage immunity on these guys, which can be a problem, but usually not. As you can see here, it is a problem because now they're starting to run circles around me, which isn't so much a problem because of CLS. It's more the blind from 2BO who can get a problem, who's right, also can get a problem. And so I already lost range, and as you can see, I'm kind of TM looped now, and they removed my turn meter, so it's unfortunate. Of course, I heal back protection and health because of the assist, but yeah, at some point it just felt useless to go there, and I'm still showing you the battle just to have a little bit of time to ramble. A little bit onto my defense because I said I changed it a bit. I got the TIE Fighter pilot Datacron as well, like the bonus turn, and so I changed my defense in that case, that I put down a Krennic team. Krennic lead with Death Trooper, because I also have the Krennic Omicron and TIE Fighter pilot. So I hope that this, will get some holes on defense, and that's why Death Trooper wasn't available for this Iden team here. Other than that, I think this is the first time where I'm getting close to lose or losing the battle against CLS with Iden. And so, tricky battle, because even though there is a chance, sometimes it gets close when I hit CLS, but eventually the damage that Iden deals is not high enough. They need the oomph or like Death Mark from Death Trooper, or just like the additional help from other damage dealers. And Stormtrooper is a great tank, but just in this fight he's almost useless, at least in this instance of this matchup. Like, because of one match you shouldn't assume that this is a bad team, or like that this doesn't work. There are many factors that play into it, such as modding, such as Datacrons, and especially the secondary stats on these Datacrons. And yeah. So as you can see, I decided to opt out and change the battle because I didn't want to go tilt that early in the match. And I decided to use Spam with Fennec and Grief versus this version of Lord Vader with Maul. I think the last time I saw this in defense or recently, I chickened out and didn't use Fennec, also because I didn't have Bam. He was on defense in that round. Now I took him on offense because I have the level 9 Datacron with the cycling of his basically damage immunity ability, as you can see. So trying to keep the team alive, especially Fennec. Grief is at some point not useless, but you can get away without him. But of course, his cleansing, healing, and that kind of stuff is also nice. It's tricky to fight against Maul. I've said it several times, also like in videos that I made when Fennec first came out on the counter. There is a certain threshold when you use Spam that Maul can trigger or not, the damage immunity, or like the amount of threshold where Bam gets his turn to give out the damage immunity. But if this threshold isn't triggered, then Maul will just walk over you and then you lose instantly. So, because then he just is shot before the threshold and then the second hit from Maul or the next hit from Maul is just enough to take you out. Happened to me also in the past. So, just to be aware of this. So it is still dicey to take in this team, especially or when there's a Maul, and there is even a dicier version when there's Thrawn. But in this case, it was fine. As I've seen, I had some armor stacks, could take out even Lord Vader before I could take out Royal Guard. Grief, unfortunately, bit the dust, but that was okay. The match was over, and was a one-shot, which I was looking for. Then also Southwall battle with the Empire Datacron, which is especially nice for Mara Jade because she gets her cooldowns reduced. But I was confident that Starkiller or like the team isn't so much a problem for Wampa. I've beat it before, post Datacrons. I think in the last video even, or the last round. And so it felt okay to take in this team. Of course, 58 stacks is close to the Starkiller ult, but managed to take out EP and then it's not so much of a problem anymore because there is no bonus attacks coming from Starkiller. Then, Relic 9, Level 9 Datacron, decked out Sith Empire team with, as you can see, Darth Vader, Ambassador Sean, Fallen. Not sure if this is overkill for this team. I think it almost doesn't matter who else you put to or like next to Malgus. You almost always have to take a GL or like a very strong team to take him out, even if you just put Marauder or like Sith Trooper and Talon with him. But this is mainly because of Datacron. This is not applicable when you don't have the Datacron anymore. Then you need to take this team or Darth Revan and Malak, or Darth Revan and Sith Trooper, just to make it extra safe. But in this case, I think this team is well known in the meantime, or like got quite established that you take in Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with Daka and Zombie, just to take out the team, because it's pretty straightforward. The Daka Zombie shield still works. Can get dicey at some point, but as long as Zombie is there and Daka is there, nothing really happens because they will go for Zombie most of the time. And then I did some kind of Build-A-Bear because I still needed to take out this CLS team, and I didn't have Vader, and Vader is my go-to lead for Starkiller and Freeze. So I opted for Darth Revan, which might sound stupid if you have Sith Empire available, but I didn't. I changed my defense up and had different comms there. So that's why I had Darth Revan available, and it's just the CLS team, quote-unquote just, but still works quite nice. And it's funny what the team else can take out. I also used it in the second round, and also in the third round, spoiler. So it's quite interesting what this team can take out. So stay tuned for that. Here it was just a cleanup, didn't get good banners, but I was happy because it was a weird team. Then I think this is an off-wall battle already, trying to get to ships, so yeah, a classic. Not really a classic, but like one of the matches you see quite often, which is Qui-Gon Jinn on defense and then Bad Batch on offense. Take it out. Here, have to dance around a little bit. Fortunately, not unfortunately, there isn't Cam, sorry, oh god. And so it wasn't as scary. As you can see, the damage that this version of JK is doing is not as high. But also because there was no bonus damage, which is now available, so it takes out people. But sometimes when you have the right Datacron or you have Cam around and you have a right modding on this guy, he also takes out the whole team, even without the bonus offense. So something to consider, to take into account when you go versus this team. But here in this case, bad banners, like 50 was not so very good, but at one shot, and it didn't have to clean anything up. Then another North Wall battle, which is a team you also see quite often in defense, at least like one of these versions, depending on if people have Grand Inquisitor or not. If they have, you usually see a split. You see Grand Inquisitor with Ninth Sister and this sister, the 7th one, and then you take the rest of them and use the 5th Brother lead to have kind of a B- team, just that potentially steals banners. Here it was a bit different, but still easy to take out if you're fast enough, and troopers in this case were fast enough. So easy enough battle. Then an interesting combination, Dooku lead. I mean, interesting in the sense that you basically are kind of forced to hit this guy. And if he dies, Grievous gets a bonus turn, then there is healing immunity, tenacity down, and all kind of stuff if you go below 100% health from Dooku lead. Dooku itself is reposed and all that kind of stuff. So it's a tricky battle. And I like tricky, not tricky, it's an interesting battle. It can be tricky, but here in this case I got my contract. I used the bounty hunters here because it felt the safest option for me. Generally, I like, even in freeze, this team quite a lot. Usually I replace Bosk with Grief, but here in this instance, Bosk felt nice because A, he was available, Grief wasn't because I used him already, and B, he's a tank. And also has a mass assist, and so got 2 times to my, what's it called? Sniping shot, forgot the name, sorry. So that was nice. It was also an off-wall battle. I think this was a back-wall battle, so I wanted to just, get it from the board. 25% turn meter on this team, so I needed to take in, also a strong team on my end, because never underestimate the bros. In this case, as you can see, Han and Chewie, it doesn't even matter what lead you take, but Kira gives TM on the crits, or gets TM on the crits, so she felt good as a lead. And it's just a nice scoundrel lead in general, so good battle, nothing to worry about. Another back wall battle, Radis, which you see quite often, especially this comp with K2 and Jin. I think so far in freeze I never failed against this team, but maybe I'm mistaken in my memory, but the only real issue you can have is that you don't take out Jin after you've taken out the other guy, Radis, so then it can get dicey. You can revive him and do terrible things to you, potentially. But in this case, it didn't happen. Only Chewie lost banners, but that's okay. Then, with the help of the Datacron, 25% Datacron plus armor, that's quite fast. It's hard for this Kyle, or like generally for Kyle, even with 25% turn meter himself, to outspeed that, unless you make him really fast. But even then, armor is quicker in general, so this was a straightforward battle. Just trigger Frenzy, do the thing, get 5 stacks, and then take out the team. So there was a sortie, I think it's a backwall battle. Wampa can do that, but if Wampa isn't away with it anymore, that just Treya can do it as well. This is one of the teams that also, that you can just whittle down as well. It depends how the score is looking like, what teams you have available, But at least for me right now, like in the area I'm playing, and with the size of the accounts that I'm playing against and that I'm having, I'm about like in 11 million GP now. It usually, you have enough stuff just to, you know, whittle down teams even in the sync of your roster, because usually the sync is also relict. Sometimes it doesn't really, you don't have many synergies or not great characters in that sense, you know. They're not transcendent in any case, but they're still enough to, at some point, take out a team. Except it's really strong, and then of course it's not so much a problem. So in this case, what I'm saying this is like Treya felt okay, but if I would have needed Treya anywhere else, I also would have had other solutions for that team. Then this is also a backwall team, which was, yeah, not sure what to think about it. I guess it can caught you by surprise, but or catch you by surprise. But in this case, it wasn't that much of a challenge. Just take out Malak with the Whirlwind. I had Ray. I had just 2 GLs on offense, so I changed my defense quite drastically from the first week, from 1 GL on the defense to 4 GLs in this round. And so I'm always happy to not use a GL, and so I can, on other GLs, so I can use this to get 59 banners. Then I believe this was overkill. This could have been a solo from Dash. The bonus turn. This is a North Wall battle, by the way, one of the last ones. Just trying to get the ships and onto the sea. I guess this could have been a solo, but it was still like interesting to see what you can take out of this guy. Then I believe South Wall, a classic team, which I haven't seen in a while. GL Newt with Nest, and usually what you can see there is like a B1 as well, or a Django is a classic, or you, instead of Nest, you just see B1, which is one of the better teams for defense, or used to be. I think it's figured out now. There are many teams that can beat it. But in this case, I still had Jedi left, and so I decided to use them. You can also take it out with Mon Mothma, this particular team as well. So if B1 is around, if there's Nest around, I wouldn't take in Mon Mothma, except you have like Kai Katana and you get a big hit on her, but can be super dicey. So easy enough battle, 55 banners, and then we go to ships. And it was a tough ship defense. We had Raiders on defense, Executor, and what was it? We will see. I forgot it. I think maybe it was... it was Raiders. No, I was totally confused by myself, because Raiders is a ship, but also a pilot. Yeah. Anyway, we're going against their Profundity. That was a ship. Dang it. Now I feel stupid. But we can feel stupid together. And yeah, Executor can do quite well if you just take out either this ship or the Millennium Falcon quite early in the match, and then it isn't so much of a problem. In this instance of the fight, I was able to take out their Millennium Falcon, oh my god. And then Dash ship, so overall at this point the battle is pretty much under control. Now it's just a matter of getting the contract, or like getting to my Annihilate, or the Death Star, because I already have the one contract. Now the second one is also triggered. I just call them contract 1 and contract 2. I guess there are real in-game names for these things. So got my Star Killer. It's also a killer, Took out the ship and finished the battle. Oh, sorry. Then we're flipping the tables, turning tables around, and I'm playing with Profundity with her Captain Redis against Executor. And here happened what shouldn't happen. I'm not taking out Xanadu Blood in the first initial barrage. It takes a bit too long, and so it gets a little bit dicey, and they're going for my Millennium Falcon. And from here on, everything is okay-ish, but I'm playing it a little bit wrong, because I wasn't able to cleanse these things here. the counter attacks from this guy. Also takes a while to take him out, but they're getting the contract, and then it always gets dicey. And as you can see, my own ultimate is still quite far away. So I have to roll the punches. Opted for taking in another reinforcement. Usually I don't do that, and still not near my ultimate. And then they go in their ultimate, and then it gets super dicey. There's still a chance to take out the fleet, just because the rebel ships themselves have good synergies and are quite strong. But if they are taken out left and right, that doesn't really matter, because then, yeah, if there's no one to synergize with, then all the synergies don't matter. Yeah, and so I'm quite confident this will be a loss, now even more. But it's okay. This is like cleanup territory anyway. So we have Xanadu out, we have Slave 1 out. So 3 ships is manageable. And so I'm taking in Finalizer for the cleanup. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Hunted on Hound's Tooth, so it doesn't get bonus per meter. Then just take out this guy, or as fast as possible. Here was opting to stun Hound's Tooth, which was a little bit unnecessary because it didn't land, but was okay because I have Echelon that takes some hits. Then almost got it out already. Then I was thinking, what should I do? Calling in Ebon Hawk to learn buff immunity on this guy. So then stun, which is great. Then can again get a bit turn meter, keep on hammering down Hound's Tooth, almost there, and now it's there. So buff immunity came in clutch here. So after that, it's just a matter of taking out those 2 ships. Whenever you can, try to stun them. So when the turn meter is above 50%, just use the basic from Silencer. Whenever you can, give turn meter or buff Silencer, and then just take out the ships. Even if at some point he ramps up damage so much, or the ship, that at some point, even it's not a crit, you get like the 200,000s, and then it will be enough for almost everything. In this case, it wasn't even necessary to hit that high. And here we are with Redis, the ship Redis. Who would have thought that this also existed? Taking Negotiator, because why not? I still had it available, and I didn't have... I also had kind of a semi-decent leftover rebel fleet, and I have to figure out what I can do with that, because I'm not quite sure. I'm still farming Raven's Claw. It's like I think 5 stars for me now. So usually chips are good at 5 stars, but sometimes just to see the full potential of fleet, you just need the 7 stars, and I don't want to buy. I don't want to buy crystals, or like don't want to spend crystals on shards. I just farm it slowly. Drop rates are horrible as always in this game, but yeah. So I guess next year I will have it, which isn't too far away by the way. Oh, so weird. Time flies. Anyway, we're approaching the end of this fight and also the match. So excited for the results, aren't we? Yeah, here I'm taking my time, thinking, what can I do? What is the best option? Because versus Riders, versus the ship, it's always, even though it feels quite straightforward, you always have this kind of ticking time bomb. When will the ship blow off, and what will happen? Yeah. But at the same time, battle is almost under control. Here I had the option to use my ultimate or went for the Mass Assist. I opted for the Mass Assist. They're calling another reinforcement, one of the annoying ones, because it does quite some damage, as you can see. Almost takes out my, yeah, 90% win condition. Then it got taken out, but here I decided just to, I think I'm using the ultimate this time, yes. Just didn't want to do anything else, and then, yeah, then the battle was over. Still good banners, but yeah, not the best banners, of course. And that was the end of this fight, and also the end of the match, and I won by quite a margin because my opponent couldn't full clear me. Which again, I said it, I changed my defense quite drastically and made it kind of tough. So I'm happy that it worked out, and that was a good start into the second week. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!